Thank you very much. My name is Matthias Mulezi, and this is my story. I come from a small city in Angola called Cabinda, a city that sells chikwanga with proteins. It's a local food, but something that's really nice. But I'm not here to talk about that. Today, I'm going to be speaking about creativity, but I'll just speed run you through my story. In my secondary school examination in my grade 12, I was ranked as the fourth best student in the country where I was living, Namibia. And that was a great milestone, which made me become. Here's a picture of that moment. So I bet you must be asking yourself, where does Jimmy come from? Jimmy from Dr. Jimmy. Well, I like to say Jimmy stands for an acronym, just in my youth, meaning that it's a name that I will use just in my youth until I turn 30. Well, that's a joke, right? Jimmy is actually my grandfather's name, and it's a name that really means a lot to me. But again, this is not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to introduce you about the five rules for creativity. But before that, we have to define what is creativity. I define creativity as the ability to see novel ways to solve a problem, an ability to see new viewpoints, new ideas, take an idea from one point and join it to another sector. That is creativity, thinking out of the box. What are some tips for creativity? Tip number one, knowledge. Albert Einstein is often known for saying that imagination is greater than knowledge. But honestly speaking, he was right, but there was a loophole in that statement. Because what is the importance of knowledge? Einstein himself, before creating the theory of relativity, what he had to do was have knowledge. He mastered the laws of Newton, he mastered physics, he mastered all those. The importance of knowledge is to be able to fill the box before you move out of it. To be able to see something from a third person's perspective. You know, if we do not have knowledge, what we end up doing is being inefficient in our creativity. I'm a chess player. If you go and play chess, what's gonna happen is that you end up calculating the first move for an hour. But I already know it. So what's gonna happen is that since I already have the knowledge, I'll just be able to create new things easier. So knowledge is very, very important for creativity. It will allow you to find new ways to solve the problem. It will allow you to find new ways to look at an idea. That is my rule number one. Rule number two. If you guys know, this is Charles Darwin. He's famous for creating the theory of evolution. Charles Darwin was a very famous multitasker. But what is slow motion multitasking? Slow motion multitasking basically means working at a specific thing, a big project, but to be able to see, to be able to have other quests on the side. Why is this important? Research has shown that the most creative people are often working on many projects, but they have one in mind. But how does that help? It helps in the following way. Whenever we're working through something, whenever we're specializing in something, what happens is we become filled with that. And honestly speaking, we start to become biased. I believe it here we have some PhDs, some great minds. We would kind of agree in that statement. But to be able to multitask in sync other ways, let's say you play chess, you play football, you play the violin, what you do is you borrow certain principles from these other ideas and you can infuse it into your main project. This is what Charles Darwin did. What he did in his theory of the evolution, what he did, he was working on worms. Yes, I said it. He was working with worms. And what he did, he was able to examine, can worms sense vision? Can worms do this? Can worms do this? And he learned certain principles. And what he did, he applied those principles into his main project, which was evolution, natural selection. So to be able to see, take something from a certain field and put it into another, that is creativity. We often mistake, we often always limit creativity to absolute originality. But the truth is, creativity is about inspiration. It is about innovation. And we can get inspired in many ways. Take Elon Musk, for example. He says that he inspires himself through fiction movies, fiction films. And that is how he's able to innovate and change the world. Slow motion multitasking. Rule number 2, be able to engage in different tasks to get inspiration, remove your bias. This is how Archimedes found out his eureka moment about um, pi and all that. Rule number 3, master the rules so you break them. Picasso, you guys know who Pablo Picasso is, right? Famous artist, perhaps the greatest artist of the 19th century. What he did, he went to art school, and he went there to learn how to draw orthodoxically, learn human anatomy, learn how to draw hands. He learned from drawing like, look, this is him, by the way. He went from drawing like this, mastering the rules, he knew them all, to drawing like this. If you see it like this, you would understand that this is breaking rules. Where are the ends? What is this? This is so exoteric. You would need a specific set of knowledge to understand this art. This was creativity. By mastering the rules, he was able to break them, to create something new. Often in times what happens is that the most creative people, what happens is that they first master all the rules and then they find a way to break them, still obeying principles. And that's they create art. Right? Master the rules so you break them. Rule number 4, perhaps the most important. You have to be able to sell your vision. If you can't sell your vision, who's gonna be able to take up your idea? It's gonna be thrown out in the dungeon. They say that in the grave, what is most full of not men, it's most full of ideas. So you're gonna be able to sell your idea. A funny story is that there was a great Frenchman, and he was able to sell the Eiffel Tower. Not once, he did it twice. How? Sell your vision. Persuade the audience. Persuade people. Communication. Be able to make people see what you see. Without that, creativity is but an idea that is gonna fly away like the wind. And we don't want that. So we all should be able to sell our vision so that we can make our creativity known. Please, guys, let's sell our vision. I remember the story of Napoleon Bonaparte. After he went to Egypt, and he conquered Egypt and lost conquership of Egypt. But what he did, he went back to France and said, I am king of Egypt. This is selling your vision. Although he was no longer king of vision, he was able to sell it, and people believed him. But there are three laws of marketing. Naval said, you do sales because your product sucks. You do marketing because your sales sucks. You do sales because your product sucks. Why was Napoleon able to sell his vision? Because he had a reputation. He had product. He himself had the product. So build yourself to be product enough so that when you share your idea, it's not only received, but it's accepted with open hands. It's needed. It's prideful. My president from my country, he says that we're not the people who wait for, we're the people who they are waiting for. Sell your vision. Sell your vision. Rule number 5. Hard work takes you from creativity to creativeness. What is creativeness and what is creativity? In the world today, we use it interchangeably, perhaps. Creativity is the act of being creative. Creativeness is the state of being a creative person. Aristotle said, "You are what you repeatedly do." Therefore, excellence has to be an habit, not an act. Hard work does that. Have you guys heard of Stephen King, the author of It movie? You know, we're gonna juxtapose him with R.R. Martin, the one for Game of Thrones. R.R. Martin is a genius writer, creative. Perhaps you can, if there was a creativity Hall of Fame, he will be the one to get it. But what happened is that he takes time and time again. From his first book, 2 years. Second book, 3 years. His book that he's writing now, 12 years and he's half of it. It's not yet done. But what happened when they asked Stephen A., how can you write so many movies? 1 year, one book. 1 year, another book. And he was asked, how are you able to do this so quickly, so fast? How can you be creative just like that? He said, I write every day. So I'm not waiting for inspiration. I'm writing so that I become an inspired person. Creativity without hard work is just an act. You have to wait for inspiration, but if you work hard enough on your craft, on your skills, you won't only be a person with creativity, but you will be a creative person. You have creativeness. Work hard so that it becomes effortless. Work hard so that tomorrow we can call you a genius in whatever field. You guys write. Work hard so that tomorrow they tell you 5 minutes and you're done. And you write a masterpiece. You play Dragons and Dungeons. Work hard so that tomorrow we see you on that championship. Let's work to be creative. Let's work to have creativeness. My name is Matthias Bulezi. And you guys are people never to be forgotten. And if the world ever forgets you, I for a fact never will. Thank you very much.